They say New York never sleeps, but what they don't tell you is that it never lets you sleep easy either. It's loud, it's fast, it's brutally honest, and yet it's the one place where you can lose everything and still feel alive. The smell of roasted chestnuts, car horns, and ambition blend into the air like perfume for the desperate and the hopeful. Every corner here has a story. Every step has a cost. This is my week. What I spend, what I feel, and what it truly means to live alone in New York City in 2025. Monday starts with that familiar hum. Radiator clicking, someone arguing outside, a dog barking at nothing. Sunlight spills through the blinds, slicing across the floor like golden stripes. Rent day. The number on the screen doesn't shock me anymore. $23.50. It's just part of breathing here. I make coffee. Instant, bitter, but somehow comforting. $7 gone for beans that promise energy and deliver only illusion. Breakfast bagel from the corner deli, another $8. The guy at the counter calls me boss even though I'm not sure I'm in charge of anything. Down in the subway, the air smells of metal and memory. $5.80 for 2 swipes. The turnstile clicks. I'm inside a moving sea of strangers. Earbuds in, eyes glazed, dreams colliding. Above ground, skyscrapers stretch like ambitions that refuse to shrink. I pass a street violinist playing New York, New York with the kind of heartbreak that makes people stop. I drop $1. That single note feels like truth. At noon, I open my laptop in a cafe that charges $6 for coffee and $3 for Wi-Fi that barely works. I freelance, writing, editing, scraping together invoices that pay late. But even through exhaustion, there's pride. Independence isn't glamorous, but it's intoxicating. By night, the city changes color. Blues and silvers replacing gold. I walk home through puddles reflecting neon signs. Dinner is noodles and silence. The radiator hisses like it's trying to comfort me. I fall asleep to sirens that sound almost like lullabies. Tuesday begins with rain, that kind of soft drizzle that makes the city smell alive. I open my window and breathe it in, even though it's mixed with car fumes and yesterday's smoke. I grab groceries from Trader Joe's, $94.60, and carry them home, water dripping down my sleeves. Groceries here are heavy in more ways than one. My phone buzzes with a reminder. Wi-Fi bill due, $85. Electricity, $62. I sigh, but I pay. Freedom has a maintenance fee. Around noon, I work again. My desk is my battlefield. Empty coffee cups, sticky notes, receipts. I design, write, pitch, all from this tiny Brooklyn apartment that somehow feels both too small and too expensive. When my brain fries, I step outside. Street vendors sizzle kebabs on the corner, steam curling into the cold air. I buy one for $7. A stranger smiles and says, "You look tired but happy." Maybe that's the truest description of every New Yorker. That evening, I take a walk through Williamsburg. The skyline across the river flickers like a promise. I stop by a vintage store, touch jackets I can't afford, laugh with the owner about the rent. He says, "The city takes everything, but it gives you stories." I nod. I walk home with empty hands but a full mind. Wednesday hits like caffeine, sharp and relentless. I wake late, rush to the subway, and spill coffee on myself. Typical. On the train, a kid raps quietly to himself, headphones around his neck. A woman across from me sketches buildings. Everyone here is chasing something. I head to a co-working space, $25 for a desk and free pretzels. I tell myself it's networking, but mostly it's just not wanting to feel alone. Work drags until sunset. My phone buzzes. Friends planning a night out. I say yes because sometimes money spent on connection is better than money saved in isolation. We meet at a rooftop lounge in Lower Manhattan. No alcohol, just mocktails, laughter, city lights. My share, $31. The air up here feels cleaner, freer. We talk about life, rent, heartbreak, algorithms. Someone says, we're all just trying to make it look like we're okay. Silence follows, but the city feels it. At midnight, I walk home and cross the bridge. Wind in my face, skyline glowing like a heartbeat. For a second, I forget how tired I am. Thursday, the slump day. My alarm feels like a threat. I brew coffee, open my laptop, and see overdue emails. I take a deep breath, scroll, and impulsively buy sneakers online. $120 gone in one click. Regret hits immediately, but dopamine wins. The city trains you to justify indulgence. Around lunch, I step out to clear my head. There's a food truck on Fifth Avenue selling tacos. $12 later, I'm sitting on a park bench watching pigeons fight over crumbs. Across from me, an old man feeds them deliberately, smiling like he's in on a secret. I wonder if peace is something you earn with age or something you buy with time. Evening falls. I carry my laundry bag down to the basement, $11 to wash, $2 to dry, and the hum of machines like white noise therapy. I scroll through my expenses and laugh. Living alone means arguing with yourself in spreadsheets. Dinner is cereal. Dessert is self-forgiveness. Friday starts with a chill in the air and something like excitement. Payday. Not much, but enough to breathe. I transfer rent money into a separate account, buy groceries again, $47.80, and promise myself a cheap treat later. By evening, I order ramen and dumplings again because comfort beats discipline every time. $28.50 and zero regrets. Netflix, blanket, candlelight, my luxury trio. I scroll through messages from friends who left the city, talking about their calm suburban lives. I smile but don't envy them. Chaos is my comfort. The city's noise is my white noise. Saturday blooms bright and busy. Farmers market in Union Square, colors, smells, sounds colliding, fresh apples, handmade soap, a guy shouting about mushrooms. I spend $18, but my camera roll fills with more. Later, I walk through Central Park, headphones on, sunlight filtering through branches. Couples laugh, joggers pass, kids chase pigeons. It's the only place where New York slows down enough to breathe. Afternoon spills into evening. I wander Soho, watch skateboarders under graffiti bridges, and stop by a tiny bookstore where the owner still writes receipts by hand. I buy a book. $12. He says it's cheaper than therapy. He's right. I head home just as rain starts again. The streets shine like mirrors. The smell of wet asphalt, fried food, and perfume fills the air. I walk slower than usual, soaking it in. The city feels like a living being, unpredictable but beautiful. Sunday arrives soft and slow. I wake early, clean my apartment, light incense. Groceries again, $38. Coffee, $6.25. Laundry detergent, $9. Little things that add up to survival. I sit at my table, open my journal, and start counting. Rent and utilities, $647. Groceries, $141. Eating out, $52. Entertainment, $43. Miscellaneous, $97. Total, $980. Every dollar has a story. Every receipt is a sentence in this ongoing novel of living alone in New York City in 2025. I stare out the window. The skyline stares back. Indifferent, but inspiring. The truth is, living in New York isn't about luxury. It's about learning to live with discomfort, to find beauty in struggle, rhythm in chaos. It's coffee spilled on a white shirt and laughing anyway. It's subway musicians playing symphonies for spare change. It's crying on the rooftop because you're broke, then watching the sunrise and realizing you're still here. This city doesn't give peace easily, but when it does, it's sacred. Midnight walks through empty streets, diners glowing at 2 a.m., the hum of life never stopping. It all becomes part of you. Sometimes when I can't sleep, I listen to the sounds outside. Sirens, laughter, arguments, taxis, and think, this is the soundtrack of persistence. Every dream here costs something, but giving up costs more. So can you live alone in New York City and still be happy? Yes, if you understand that happiness here isn't soft or perfect. It's gritty, unpredictable, alive. It's coffee spilled on a white shirt and laughing anyway. It's subway musicians playing symphonies for spare change. It's crying on the rooftop because you're broke, then watching the sunrise and realizing you're still here. This city doesn't give peace easily, but when it does, it's sacred. Midnight walks through empty streets, diners glowing at 2 a.m., the hum of life never stopping. It all becomes part of you. Sometimes when I can't sleep, I listen to the sounds outside. Sirens, laughter, arguments, taxis, and think, this is the soundtrack of persistence. Every dream here costs something, but giving up costs more. So can you live alone in New York City and still be happy? Yes, if you understand that happiness here isn't soft or perfect. It's gritty, unpredictable, alive. It's found in the smallest victories, paying rent on time, catching a train before the doors close, finding a quiet corner in a city that never shuts up. The best moments here don't need filters. They live in your memory like snapshots of survival. So yeah, it's expensive, it's exhausting, and it's endlessly worth it. Because in this city, every heartbeat, every dollar, every step is proof that you're trying, and that's everything.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and tell me, could you live alone in New York City?